Welcome to Wild Left Religion with Coach Renz. And I feel like the song back in the day because I went to Vegas for a cigar convention, and then I had a sinus infection because I ate a bunch of dairy that I know I should not eat. So now I'm back. But I felt like the song from back in the day. You know how I go. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some dope videos to keep. Yeah. But yeah, so my apologies. I meant to do some videos while I was in Vegas. I was running around a lot, but I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that you guys are still with me. Look, over the last few days, there's been a lot of conversations that I've had with other people that would make great videos, that would be filled with information that we all can use. I expect to make those videos, but I've had one prevailing thought, one prevailing vision, one prevailing dream that I had while I was in Vegas that I can't seem to get out of my mind. And I realized why. Because the dream wasn't just for me. Originally, when I had the dream, I interpreted the dream. I looked at it from just a personal perspective. But now I realize it has been brought to me through additional vision, through additional revelation, that the dream wasn't just for me, that the dream is for many of you. If this dream is for you, please take heed. Please take heed. So in the dream, I found myself in a ditch, and it was nighttime, almost nighttime. It was just enough light that you could see. The ditch was long, spread all the way down. Within the ditch, as you look upward, there was parts of grass and other plant life, and there were roots. And it seemed that it would be easy to climb to make your way out of this ditch. It was filled with dirt. Red, brown dirt. No rocks. So at first, I began to try to reach up and climb out, grabbing onto the roots, trying to grab onto the plants. But every time I did, all the roots, all the plants, they would just fall into the ditch, and I would fall deeper into the ditch. Amazingly, somehow the ditch got deeper because I was reaching for all these natural elements to get out the ditch. But I just got deeper in the ditch. And then I saw a shovel. So I grabbed the shovel, and logically thinking, I went and I dug earth from over on this side and piled it right here, and got some dirt from over here and piled it right here. Then that way I could step up and just keep piling dirt. Logically, I could step my way out of the ditch. But that didn't work. I got deeper and deeper into the ditch. And then there was a young lady. I cannot describe her. I don't know who she was. But I was reaching up to pull myself out of the ditch, and I'm trying to pull her at the exact same time. But the more and more I tried to pull her out the ditch and try to pull myself out the ditch, we got deeper and deeper into the ditch. And then, amazingly, the lady got up under me, and she was holding me up under the bottom of my feet, trying to lift me up. And she was lifting, and she was lifting me up. But the more she lifted me up, the deeper we fell into the ditch. So then I just sat there, and I sat there alone. And as I sat there alone, I started meditating and just letting everything go. Not worrying about being in the ditch, not worrying about the vegetation, the roots, the shovel, the people. I began to float. And I made my way out of the ditch. You may take different things from that dream. But I realized a lot of our speech, a lot of our talk, the English language, nor any language, any verbal language, no verbal language can truly describe the consciousness of man, the consciousness of God, the mechanisms of the universe. As much as we can look at nature we will never fully understand the fullness of the universe. And the more we grasp onto that one thing, we fall deeper into a ditch, because that one thing becomes the entire encapsulation of the universe, of God, of you, of the Creator, of your energetic being, of your consciousness, of your God and Goddess inside you. The more we reach, the more we focus on that one thing. And then logically, science explains how many things in the universe works. The logic of getting a shovel and making a pile, of course, that would work. We know that there are parables of the more, when the owner tried to cover the donkey that was in the ditch, the more he threw dirt on the donkey, he'd shake it off, and the donkey would step on top of the dirt, and eventually he was able to rise out of the ditch, out of the pit. Logically, that works. Logically, we can see how the universe works, how consciousness works. We can figure out a logical mechanism for it to work. But in the true understanding, to get to that higher plane, to get to where the Buddha would call it samadhi, logic is not enough. Logic will never get you fully there. It can't be something that's just of the mind. And then trying to pull someone out of the ditch, trying to be helpful, trying to help someone else, trying to be that good Samaritan. We think that those actions should give us the grace and the ability to come out of the ditch. Now, of course, I initially took that in a relationship vibe and was thinking that too often I've tried to help other people at the detriment of my own self. And we can do that. And I can see how that works. But also, just doing your good works won't get you there. And then being propped up by other people trying to lift you up, other people trying to say who you are. You being that person that's trying to lift somebody else up, or you being the one that's put up on the pedestal, that doesn't get you there either. How many times have we seen those who we ascribe to them holiness, only to be disappointed, only to realize that they're just human, that they have frail, they have faults. They're no better than anybody else. I remember a pastor asking one time, are you any better than the apostles, or the apostles better than you? I told him the apostles are no better than me, because they're just people. I don't care who they think they are. They're just people. No one is greater than the other. So no one should be propped up, and you should do no propping. Otherwise, everybody falls. But it is the moments that you decide to just let go, to just get into the flow of the way, the flow of things. The moment you stop fighting against the river, going against the current, that you just feel and know the energy of the Creator, the energy of the universe. Through the high vibration down to the low vibration, you see the problem. One of the problems we have is we just want to be to the right. We just want to be to the good. But as they talk about shadow work, if you've never dealt with the lower vibration, how can you ever deal and be in the higher vibration? You have to experience both. You have to know both. You have to control both. You have to flow in the way of both in order for you to truly ascend. It is not about being one side, but it is about being in the fullness. When people talk about the fullness of God, you have to understand, God is good, all good on the right and all evil on the left. We like to call it God and the devil, one and the same on the same pole, just different degrees, a million degrees in between. So what is the fullness? If he said in the Bible that he created evil, then it was created out of the same substance that he created everything else, in the same mental image that he created everything else. So be in the fullness of you, and you'll rise out of the ditch. Don't negate any part of you. But just know not to harm anyone else with it. Good vibrations, good journey. Let's continue, actually. Because that wasn't enough. You may walk away from that feeling a little bit confused. You see, until you, let's put it in a cosmic format. We know that the law of rhythm is always. There are swings to the right and swings to the left. A star is born, but a star is born out of a dead star. A black hole condenses, explodes, creates a galaxy. Out of death, there comes life. But out of life, there must be death. The lion can't survive without killing some other animal. The other animal can't survive without eating the grass and killing the grass. The grass cannot grow without the nutrients of the dead animals. All things need each other. There is good and bad in everything. There is the positive and the negative. But without both positive and negative, nothing will ever work. You cannot be an all positive person. You cannot always look at the positive. You need to have negative things that happen in your life so that you can develop and grow. Without those trials and those tribulations, then you would have never become the person that you are today. If you didn't go through what you went through, would you be who you are today? No, you wouldn't. But instead, we often run away from those things. We run away from all the things that make us who we are. When we're faced with a challenge, we like to run away from it instead of attacking it. Now, once you establish your lessons from that negative, it does not mean that you stay with it. It does not mean that you continue to be within that negative. It means that you take your lessons and you continue on your path. I met someone at the conference, and she was telling me about a family member of hers. And this family member, it is the thing that many of us have heard of before. Her and her husband, they get into very physical altercations. They fight. She's cut him. She breaks his windows. She slashes his tires. They call each other names. They do all these toxic things. And then they apologize, and they're back together, and the cycle repeats. This is not what I'm talking about. Those are the situations where the persons, both people, should examine the toxicity of the violence, of the verbal abuse. Recognize the negative portion of it. See how that has manifested so much negativity in their lives. But see the opposite of the happiness and joy they can have without it. To know that that's not something that you should have. That's not something that should drive you. That is not true love. And move away from it. Those two should separate. They should never be together. So don't take me saying that you have to embrace the negative and learn from it and grow from it, meaning that you have to stay in the same position, stay in the same space, stay in the same environment. When I was in the Marine Corps and I was working for Staff Sergeant Green, Mississippi racist, the man put me through hell. And when I was in there, I was ready to leave the Marine Corps. If I had a 4-year contract instead of a 6-year contract, I would have been out of the Marine Corps immediately when my contract ended, when I finished with that unit. But thankfully, I had a 6-year contract. And when I went to Stuttgart, Germany, and I was under Gunnery Sergeant Payne, James Allen, I saw what a good staff sergeant is like. I saw what a good gunny is like. I saw how being treated respectfully in the Marine Corps is like. But I looked at the fact that the person that I was, the fact that when I got to that unit, there were many things that if I didn't have to deal with Staff Sergeant Green, that I would not have stood up for myself. I would not have had the gall. And one person, he knows who I'm talking to if he ever watches this video, that I would not have had the unmitigated gall to stand up for him when people tried to trample on him as well. That I would not have been willing to risk everything to ensure that my guy was taken care of, that my guy was not used and abused. So I'm thankful for Staff Sergeant Green. But if my option was to stay with Staff Sergeant Green, hell no. You don't stay there. You get out. You leave. You remove yourself. But you take the lessons. You take the lessons. You see, when you are grasping at nature, as in the vision, you take the lessons from nature. When you are using logic and science, you take the lessons from logic and science. When you're trying to help other people to grow, not force them, help them, you take the lessons from it. When people are trying to lift you up, you take the lessons from it. You encompass all of it together. Separate the wheat from the chaff. And then you'll elevate. Then you reach samadhi. Then you reach nirvana. Nirvana being the release. Prana, the breathing in. But if you try to hold on to the prana, if you try to hold on to just the nature, hold on to just the logic, hold on to just the science, hold on to just the helpfulness, hold on to just the being propped up and leading, that lactic acid starts building up in your chest and it starts burning. If you try to hold on to the prana, then there's the nirvana of letting go. Taking it all in, taking in the nutrients of the oxygen, letting it oxygenate your blood, breathing out the poison of the carbon dioxide that's inside your body, releasing the toxins. The ingoing and the outgoing. When we talked about the all, there's the expansion of the all, the outgoing, but then there's the retraction of the all, the indwelling, the indrawing. This is something we must do for ourselves constantly. Constantly. Take the good and the bad. Take the lessons. Utilize the parts. Use nature. Use science. Use your helpful nature. Use the helping of other people. Use other people helping you. But at the end of the day, it comes down to just you releasing, letting go. And like the other song says, then you'll float. Float on. But I wanted to share that vision, that dream with you guys. If you took more out of it, let me know in the comments, please. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. If you're still watching this, it's only on YouTube. So thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your super thanks comments. Please, you got video ideas, put it in a super thanks comment. It will guaranteed be done in a super thanks comment. But I enjoy talking to you guys. I look forward to start to set up meet and greets here in Atlanta, where we can start really start working together to build a greater us, a greater community, to connect us all with the all and each other, and to go within ourselves to get into our trueness and our true nature. I'm not trying to be your leader. I'm not trying to be your God. I'm not trying to be your pastor or nothing like that. I'm just being me. And being me is I don't want to say teacher, a person who gives exposition of information. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. good vibrations, good journey.